All right, Jeff Zimmerman here. I'm with the champ, WBA bantamweight champion of the world, Antonio Vargas. He's got the fight of his life coming up June 13th in Phoenix on DAZN against pound for pound star Bam Bam Rodriguez. How you doing, Antonio?
Hey, I'm doing good, Jeff. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, man. Listen, I know you're an Olympian. I know you're a world champion. You were just telling me before we kicked off that you started, you're in Houston, Texas to about 12. You're in Florida now, but you're still relatively unknown to the boxing public. And part of it may be the weight class, right? I mean, we don't always give love to the lower weights, although Bam is certainly changing that, and we've had others. But talk about your journey to boxing, growing up and how you became an Olympian and now a world champ.
No, yeah, man. Boxing definitely changed my life, man. I started fighting when I was 9 years old. Why behind? Try to put me on.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit, Antonio.
Hmm. Oh man, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think it might be the connection. But yeah, I got introduced to boxing from my father, man. I was 9 years old when he put me in boxing. But my teacher they try to put me on medication on ADHD pills,
Hmm.
and my dad was like, let's just put him in boxing instead, and it helped to calm me down, and I didn't have to take any medications. And by 9 years old, man, that's when I had my first fight. I fell in love with the sport, man, and I was able to, climb the ranks with the amateurs, become a 2016 Olympian. And, you know, my last fight, I was able to, defend my world title fight. So it's been a journey, man, and I'm still, like you said, man, nobody really knows who I am, but this is the fight I've been waiting for, these big fights, beating some of the biggest names in boxing right now, which is one of them is Bam. So I know after I beat this guy, it'll definitely help me to put me where I belong with a lot of these top guys like Shakur Stevenson, Claressa Shields, Tafimo Lopez. These are guys that I grew up with fighting with. Um, so I'm looking to put myself on that platform after I beat this kid.
Yeah, you mentioned 9 years old, and I hear stories like this all the time. I've been doing this a little while. When did you know, though? I mean, obviously it helped, instead of medication, best way to go, right? But how did you know you're actually good at this thing? I mean, you said it was kind of love at first sight, but how did you know you actually had the talent?
Man, it's just winning, man. My first couple of fights, man, they were just I was just winning, man. I think I had my first big tournament. I won Ringside World. That was like my first belt. And that was it was a pretty big tournament. And after I won that belt, I think I won it within like 6 fights, and that's when I knew I'm like, hey man, like if I keep being disciplined, you know, um, I could do things. And as an amateur, man, my record I was what 127. I had 127 wins with 7 losses.
Hmm.
So yeah, just the talent, man, just being I was undefeated for a while, man. Matter of fact, I was undefeated for 4 years straight, man. Every tournament, every international tournament, every person I fought, I was just beating everybody. And the one that broke it is I fought Shakur Stevenson in amateurs, and he broke my record, my streak, and I was almost 4 going on 5 years of just being undefeated. And but yeah, it was that, man, that kind of just the winning that kind of gave me fulfillment, and felt like it gave me purpose at the time. So to be where I'm at right now, it definitely prepared me for who I am today.
What was that fight like Shakur like in the amateurs?
Man, I pressed that kid, man. I was on him, man. Like, because like I said, he's a very good fighter, man. Very technical fighter, likes to fight at his range, and he was a better man than I, man. He was landing the cleaner punches. Um, he just very accurate fighter, man. Very special fighter to be in there with, and like I said, he broke my streak, man. So
Yeah. You were in the Olympics with Shakur, and you mentioned both Shakur and Claressa, the GOAT, and Shakur, you know, top 10 pound for pound. I mean, what he did to Teofimo, I don't think anyone expected that domination. Um, obviously you fought Shakur, which I did not know that, but you saw the talent firsthand, even in the amateurs with Claressa and Shakur. So no surprises what you're seeing them do today, I would imagine.
No, yeah, no surprise at all, man. I expect that from them, man. Just even with Shakur, man, him being a four division champion, he's just getting started, man. Like I think he'll be able to climb up, 147 and kind of do the same thing. Just his skill set is on a whole another level. And the same thing with Claressa Shields. Like there's nobody's gonna be here, man. She's just going up weight classes and stuff like that and dominating these fighters. So definitely she's definitely the greatest female fighter of all times. And Shakur, man, I see him being like a Crawford, man, like one of the greatest fighters of our generation.
Have you done any work with Shakur since you've turned pro, or do you guys stay in touch? What's that relationship?
Yeah, we'll stay in touch here and there. I got his number. We message each other on Instagram and stuff like that. He supports me, I support him, and I got a very I respect him a lot, man, because we used to spar each other a lot, getting ready for the Olympics, OTC. So I definitely see him like a brother, man, and we talked many times, and we used to live at the Olympic Training Center over there in Colorado Springs. So he's definitely him and Shields, man. They're like family to me. I consider them, him a brother, and Claressa a sister to me.
Yeah, you mentioned your dad putting you into boxing at 9. Did you have any boxing in the family? Was your dad just a fight fan? Did he box at all? Like what, you know, where does that come from?
Yeah, my father, he's from Puerto Rico. He's from Bayamon, and he used to box when he was younger. He never competed or anything like that, but it's very common over there for Puerto Rico, man. They
Yeah.
get the kids really early in the boxing, and because the gyms are out there, they're free, so it's a lot easier to get the kids into boxing. Keep them out of trouble, keep them out of the streets. So he kind of seen the same thing with me, man. I would just get into trouble in school a lot, and so that's why they wanted to put me on medication. He's like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing, that they did to me when I was younger. So they put me in boxing, and I thank God for that, man, because it's changed my life. It's given me discipline. I got a beautiful family, man, and most importantly, man, I know Price, man, revealed himself to me in the sport of boxing. So that's like the biggest thing I've got from the sport, man. It's just the life changing event, man.
Let me ask, because your dad, who was his favorite fighter growing up, and who was yours? Who did you follow? I'd say Felix Trinidad is probably one of them.
Yeah, definitely from my dad. I think it was Trinidad and Rafael Gomez. Those are this guy Hector Camacho too, man.
Hmm.
I watch him a lot. Another outspoken, crazy New Yorican guy, man. Just very outspoken, and those were some of his favorite fighters. But one of my favorite fighters growing up was Manny Pacquiao, man. Just seeing him as a kid, that's his style, the punches the amount of punches he would throw. That was one of my favorite fighters growing up as a kid.
Who does your style? Who do you emulate? Who would you say, your style is most like of fighters you follow?
Um, I don't know, man. I couldn't really say, man. I try not to compare myself to other fighters too much. I just try to, pick and learn, from other fighters that I like to see, man. It's kind of a hard question, man. I can't really answer that question.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Manny's one of one, so I mean, there's not a lot of guys that would ever do what he did. But and I'm here with Antonio Vargas, bantamweight champion of the world. Listen, man, you went to enemy territory and got a draw in your last fight against Dago Higa in Japanese, a Japanese fighter. You got a knockdown in the last round to actually secure the draw. You came out strong, you got dropped, and then you came back. What did that fight teach you about yourself?
Man, it just taught me, just there was man the perseverance, man, because that was man out of all my fights that I was very nervous that fight. Just going into the his hometown, and then the time change, man. It was like a 16-hour time difference and to Florida. So I only went there like a week, before, so I wasn't really fully acclimated. So
Hmm.
it was a lot of things I learned, man. Just basically going overseas, but yeah, just focus on my technique too, man. 'Cause I had planned a boxing, man. I wasn't planning to fight Higa. Uh, I was trying to make him come more to me, more like in and out. hit, dance around the ring a little bit. But after the second round, I'm like, man, this kid is gonna fight me in the back foot. I can tell he's not gonna, he's not trying to fight me. When he dropped me in the fourth round, then I'm like, I really gotta press, and I was trying to get the knockdown back. Fight, God, I was able to drop him in the fourth round and secure a draw. I thought that won me the fight, but yeah, it was a close fight, man. So definitely a lot of things that I did learn and experience, man. But I don't want to go back to Japan anytime soon, man. So yeah.
Yeah. How much though, Antonio, did that experience and your Olympic pedigree, which, sometimes we forget. I mean, all the international experience, you mentioned all the championships, you're undefeated for 4 or 5 years. How much will that experience help you against Bam?
It's gonna help me a lot, man. Because especially in the amateurs, I fought a lot of southpaws. And like I said, Bam's a southpaw. And he's very good on his feet, man. So kind of push me back to a place where it'll take me to fights that I fought in amateurs. I've seen styles like him before. Obviously it's different, just the amount of rounds you have to do. So it definitely helped me to train and to try to neutralize, his footwork and try to catch him, in between exchanges and and shifting and stuff like that. So definitely gives me the experience I need and helps me to train hard just to have the stamina that I need to do to perform June 13th.
Yeah, when you guys did that press conference in Vegas, you mentioned about sparring him when you guys were younger, which Eddie Hearn didn't even realize. I don't think anybody knew that. He was much smaller. How much have you seen him change just from what you experienced with him to where he is today? I mean, he just seems so smooth out there, like gliding through these fights.
No, yeah, I would have never thought, man, he would have been as big as he is. Hey, man, me sparring him. I think I was like 19. I was what? When that was 10 years ago when I sparred. He was a 106. I was a 114, so I was a lot bigger than him. And we were just working, just touching. It was nothing like nothing hard. But it's definitely inspiring, man, to see a kid like that become who he is today. And it definitely helps to motivate fighters, including myself, man. Just that the smaller weight class we can become and do big things. And he definitely has inspiring story and journey.
Yeah, and he's moving up. I mean, he's got big plans, obviously, in the sport. And, he's taking this fight. He's coming in to grab another title, your title. You do look bigger than him just when you guys, faced off. But how much difference will that 3 pounds be? How much difference is it for guys your size and him moving up to that weight, 118 for the first time?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes a big difference, man. Because obviously, some of the last fighters, they naturally smaller guys. Um, so I do believe, you know, when I do fight him, man, the world's gonna see, hey, man, he may not be ready for 118, maybe another couple years, but right now, I want to be able to conquer the 118 division, and after I beat Bam, I want to go for some of the other 118s. So he's kind of I just got to get past Bam first, because I understand he's trying to make history, but I'm here to stay, man. I'm here to prove that I'm the best, in my weight class, and I got to get once I get past Bam, then I'll definitely go back on the journey to become because I want to become undisputed at 118. So I definitely want to fight some of these other champions after I beat Bam this fight.
What will it take to beat him, Antonio? I mean, he's been, like I said, gliding through these fights. He's 26, beating legends of the sport, future Hall of Famers. What will it take to beat him?
Definitely, man. I think with him, man, it's gonna come down to the timing and just the shot placements. Every fighter has a rhythm. Every fighter has a different timing. So it's just figuring that timing out and making sure I land the bigger and cleaner shots. And I do believe, man, I'm gonna have to either knock him out or put him down a couple of times just to make sure the fight goes in my favor. So, like I said, I know he's a big name. He's a favorite to win, and if the fight is close, which I'm hoping it's not, because I know they kind of gravitate more towards him. So I'm definitely going in there, man, expecting to put him down, man, because it's I just got to make sure I'm landing the right shots, and I'm training really hard for this fight, man. He's a great champion, and I know after I beat him, man, it's gonna help me to be put up with some of these other great champions as well.
Bam did this, I think, in his last fight where they announced another fight even before the fight in front of him. They're already talking, him and Robert Garcia, after what Inoue did against Nakatani, they're already talking about that as a super fight, maybe end of the year type of thing. Do you feel disrespected? Do you feel like they're overlooking you when you hear that kind of chatter?
Yeah, at first it was kind of seeming like they're overlooking me, but at the same time, now it gives me a fire. I'm like, okay, now let me. As long as I gotta do what I gotta do, June 13th. After I beat him, it's gonna put all them talks. Because after I beat him, there's no way he's gonna be able to fight anyway. You got a guy like me, beats him. So it just motivates me to train harder and to get the win. And it's people are gonna be like, hey man, this Vargas kid is he's a great champion, man, and they're gonna start putting more respect on my name.
Let's switch gears, man. I can tell you're a fan of the sport. I mean, you grew up in it since 9 years old, 20 years. We got some big fights on the horizon. If I can get some just quick predictions, I think one of the biggest fights out there is Boots and Xander Zayas, another Puerto Rican for that matter. How do you see that fight playing out?
Man, this guy, I know Xander's man. I've met him in amateurs. I've met him in the pros. We're both now top rank. In the beginning of our careers. I know who he is, man. So I'm rooting for him, man. He's a bigger guy. He has really good fundamentals. But Boots, man, he's a little bit more crafty. He has more tools. Um, so man, I got it. It's kind of like 50-50, man. I'm not really, I think Zayas can beat him just because of size difference if he's able to, keep his jab and place his shots right. But also a Boost, man, like the amount of tools he has, man, he's a very special fighter as well. So it's kind of a hard fight for me to judge, man. But I'm hoping that Zayas would get the win.
Yeah, that would be huge for the island, I would imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, big party in Puerto Rico. What
Yeah.
about Oshaki Foster and Raymond Ford? They're fighting in Houston, your old hometown. How do you see that fight going?
Man, that fight. I've seen both fighters, man. Isn't this guy Ford going up in weight to fight this guy?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. So he's a sharp guy, man. But I don't know the other guy, Foster. He looks bigger though, man. So I think I think if Ford's able to, if he's able to deal with the size, I could see him, beating him. But if not, man, I think Foster might end up, just taking the fight, man. Like after the second half of the fight, man, and getting the win.
And then the last fight, the legends that you mentioned, Manny Pacquiao is your favorite fighter. On it again, off again. It sounds like it's going to be a real fight against Floyd Mayweather sometime in September. Um, how do you see that shaking out?
Man, yeah, I was definitely going for Manny Pacquiao the first time, when they fought. But after seeing that fight, I'm like, man, it's Floyd, man. He's a special fighter, man. The only thing is he hasn't been as active as Pacquiao. Pacquiao, has been a little bit more active. But I don't know, man. I think they're both old, man. But I'll be going for Pacquiao, man.
They're both old, okay.
Yeah.
Considering I'm older, but yeah, I hear you. In boxing, they're definitely old. Um, June 13th against Bam Rodriguez, one of the, a huge fight. I think it's going to be fireworks. What should we expect June 13th on DAZN in Phoenix? It's going to be a pro Bam card, as you know, but you're looking to become a star yourself. What should we expect?
No, yeah, man, definitely a good, a good fight, man. Bam's a very unique fighter, man. I like to throw a lot of punches. I like to put pressure and stuff like that. So it's definitely going to be a fight to see. And I just want to thank everybody, man, who's been cheering me on and who's going to be watching and supporting. And I look forward to making history. I know it got me as underdog, so motivates me harder to, to get this win my hand will be raised. You know,
All right, you heard it here. Antonio Vargas, former USA Olympian, WBA bantamweight champion of the world, got the fight of his life against Bam Rodriguez, but he's here to make history himself and stop the big plans with Inoue and future fights as well. Man, it's good to get to know you a little bit and hear your story, man. I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
All right, thank you, Jeff. I look forward to it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.